Well, welcome everybody to the way I do a painting. As you can see, I'm working with a nice gradual diagonal. I already got a title on this one, and I'm thinking of calling it Above the Timberline. So I have a character that is completely made up in my mind that I have no clue about, but I'll learn a lot more as I paint. Mixed up a batch of ultramarine blue and burnt umber. I used to try to get this to be rather dark, and then I used to get it so that it was rather smooth, but I haven't worried as much about it. And once this dries, then I'll just start laying in my oil paint and headed toward finish. I usually start with a pretty refined drawing for myself, just to know my character, where I'm going. No one actually taught me how to paint. I did it all through observation. Today I will concentrate on the main figure and get a lot of this guy established, and then I'll move into the polar bears, which are to either side of him. Whatever I want to do is I want to establish an anchor that I can feed off of for the rest of the painting. I'll ramp up into the other colors and values that would be one step away from the darkest darks. I'm actually directing the drawing with my camera so that I can capture different elements of where I'm going with different costume pieces, so I can understand how the light falls on the subject. So I've stretched the leg, I've added extra parts to it, I've changed his costume around. Flipping through a lot of photography to look for clues to color. The next bunch of strokes are going to be pretty critical as far as value and color, and not any fussy stroking. It's very important to pay attention to how the strokes come together in areas with fold. The difference here is working with the reference, with my sketch, in a graphic sense of sculpture. It depends on how I hold my brush and where I'm going with it. That makes the difference in what story those folds are telling. It's to keep it from looking too expected, too boring, too staid. So polar bears aren't exactly white as much as they're clear with a lot of yellow in there. I go in here and pull up some of this back cheek. Underneath the goggle, again, we have some reflection from the face. Just deciding value and color to enhance their sculptural shapes, to lead me over to this guy, which will then allow me to finish up on this one over here. He has a little bit more detail, he has a little bit more drive. They both tend to come up and balance one another. Get the basics down first, basic drawing, basic shape, and then you can play with the color and the stroking from there. And you've still got what it takes to bring your point across. So the ninja study to me was a physical manifestation of what I was going through in my head about my artwork, and they both blended at one point. And it helped me to figure out how to question less and do more. In order to do art, in order to be a creative person, I think you have to think against the common norm. So that puts you out of the box a little bit. You're actually becoming someone who's a little bit, in the normal person's eyes, a little crazy. You're crazy wisdom. Crazy like a fox. This puts you outside of the realm of everyday life in order to create. People just don't come up with, regular people don't come up with visions like this. They're inspired by visions like this to do better for themselves. As creative artists, we come up with this stuff all the time. It's our daily lives, and we end up living these worlds in order to share them with everybody else. It is not to remain outside the realm of average. It is to be accepted within that realm. And we do it by enticing average thinking people into our world, which entices us back into theirs, and it's a circle.